Alright, welcome viewers of Wild Days of the Calloways. I know I have not been putting out stuff as consistently as I wanted to, as I thought I was going to, and I'm sure you're wondering where the rest of the van build is. Well, all that will be coming in time. It's a little bit trickier to edit out here than I thought it was going to be. So what I want to quickly do is run you through the trip so far and hold off on some of the other normal van life activities that we do, what clothes we wear, how we take showers, how we live in the van, how we cook, parking, a lot of that stuff I want to hold off for another video. For right now, I want to quickly go through some of our experiences, as I think that's been far more important than the actual activities that we've done inside the van, is more what we've done outside the van. So it's the final day. It is Friday. You can see we're narrowing stuff down to things that are going to go to Florida than the van, or Florida then back to Baton Rouge. It's just taking a little bit of time. It's trying to just figure out exactly what can go, what can't. You can see all this stuff has been cleared out, and just a process, trying to sell stuff online, and Lindsay not wanting to be on camera over there. So we're getting closer. It is a hard, tricky thing to do, but we're doing it. Van life before long. All right, cleaned out. You probably don't care too much about any of this, but I remember when we first walked into this place, we were like, what? This is freaking awesome. And I still feel that way. It's a great house, but we had to downsize, and let me tell you, it's not an easy process. Hammer. So let me show you how not to downsize. Okay, so here's the van, and here's what we're gonna have to condense. That, yeah, I know, it looks like a lot. It is a lot. When we get back from Florida and get into the van, we're gonna have to really figure out exactly how this is all gonna work. We're running out of space, but it does look a little more homely with these pillows and stuff, so I really don't know. It just, we'll have to figure out as it goes. We have to get rid of more stuff, so be it. I don't know. But first step is doing exactly what we did, and that is downsize. Sort of. I mean, these are absolutely packed full. So is that car. The rental car, so. Oh God, van life. Let's just see what happens. So we're just getting back from the beach. We're in Louisiana. We have not seen Chaser in...
I haven't seen him in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Might not mean much to y'all, but that means everything to us. I think it's been like a week and a half for me, but we are pulling up, and I want to see who he goes to first. His mom or his dad. It's definitely gonna be me.
We'll see about that. Oh, that's not fair. Hey, that's not fair. Buddy! Hey! Hey, I think it was me. Come here. Hey, who's the both of us? Tracer.
Oh, is he beating you?
Has he been hurting you, man? Mr. Buddy. Ouch. Hit me. Go inside. Hey. Inside. It was a little bit of both of us right there. Our first day out of Chattanooga, we went to the Ocoee River. Day one, van life out of Chattanooga. Parking up right here near the Ocoee. A friend of ours, Rusty, is a raft guide, and he got a couple tips from the local raft guides because he's pretty new to it. Got a pretty cool spot to camp, and there's a couple we stopped at, but they all seem to have a lot of people and a lot of trash. This one's no exception, unfortunately, but there's some beautifulness to it for sure. I don't want to get too far away from the van. Just a personal thing. It has an alarm on it, so if somebody tries to mess with it, it'll go off, but how far it'll actually go, who knows.
Will we be able to hear it over a babbling, beautiful stream like this? I don't know. But beautiful it certainly is. So is she. So is he. First night of van life, I'd say successful. Got a sweet little campsite. Felt pretty safe overall. It was hot out. It was I want to say like July 12th or somewhere in that area, and go figure, the south is burning up. Still trying to figure out our fan in here. It was just, it was tricky. We also went ahead and bought an ice chest, a little simple Ozark $40 Ozark soft ice chest from Walmart. Seems to be holding ice pretty well. We filled up our Reliance 7-gallon water jug all the way. I don't think that was the best idea. In hindsight, I think we're gonna start doing it halfway until we know we're gonna go out for a couple days, because that really weighs down the van. As far as packing goes, I mean, there's been a lot of take everything out, put everything back in, as to be expected. So that's a part of the process. Our little camp chairs that you stick together, also Ozark Trail, packs down real well. Found that to be pretty good. Mine broke already, or at least came broken, so hopefully we'll fix that, go bring it back to Walmart. We are going to try to bring the van somewhere in Asheville to see about getting it raised from the back, because it is sitting a little bit low. It is heavy back there between our bed, the tools, the water, all of our stuff. So it's not scary low, so I'm not freaking out about it. But it would sure be nice if we can get some coil springs just to jack it up a little bit more, make it sit a little bit more even, get a little bit more suspension out of it so it doesn't, you know, feel like it might hit the bottom at some point and, you know, rip off the exhaust pipe or something like that. So that's a couple different plans. We plan on spending a couple days in Asheville. I don't know what's happening after that. Virginia, Pennsylvania, something. We don't know a lot of people up that way, so it'll be nice that we're actually comfortable and hanging out with people that we know before we hit a pretty big streak of people we don't know, and we're just looking for places the best we can.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh!
Goodbye, Tennessee, Rusty, and Johnny. You guys are great. The next morning we woke up and we headed to Asheville. We didn't start staying in parking lots or on the side of the road or anything like that quite yet. We actually got to stay with a friend of ours who we hiked the Appalachian Trail with, Allegra and her boyfriend Ryan. Going through the Appalachians and coming down some of the mountains there, the grade was so steep. I'd had this issue with the van before where the brakes just start heating up, the front ones, and basically start smoking. It had been a while since anything like that has even come close to happening, so I wasn't sure if it was just a one-time thing. I changed the brake pads. Turned out that was an issue. So the first thing we did, talked to our friend Allegra, got a trusted mechanic, put the van in the shop. Turned out it needed brand new rear brakes. They were pretty much not working at all. So all of it, 100% of the stopping of this now pretty heavy van was all in the front brakes. That explains why it started smoking. We also got some new suspension because it was sitting just a little bit low in the back. Not too terrible, nothing to really worry about. I just wanted it to feel better. So we got new suspension all around, new brake jobs. That took a little while though. So we were there for almost a week, and in that week, we actually rented a car to go back to Chattanooga because that same friend Rusty Theokoe got hurt. We went back to Chattanooga, we rented a car. Our friend Rusty got into a pretty serious accident, fell off the top of a school bus when loading on rafts after raft guiding. So we figured while it was in the shop, we'd come run back over here and check on him and see how everything's going. He's making a fantastic recovery. Additionally, a lens, one of the shorter lenses that I've been waiting for and had overnighted to the wrong address, finally showed up today. So that was one of the perks of actually sticking around and coming back to Chattanooga, was to get this package that has been all over the place, and people from the post office couldn't tell me where it was or when it would get to me. Just been one issue after another. Finally got that, sold the old camera. The Canon 70D is officially sold for roughly the price that I was hoping for. So things are looking up. We are in our rental car. We're going to drive back up to, or over to Asheville momentarily, and then we're gonna figure out where to go from there. We did make our way back to Asheville. We did some beautiful hiking. It's really pretty up there, really high mountains, beautiful views. It was a really solid start. What are we hiking up to?
Fair Wallow.
Fair Wallow, outside of Asheville.
Wallow Mountain.
Woo! thank Allegra for giving us a solid spot to stay. Fortunately, Rusty was okay as well. Also, something I realized going through the footage later on is that my ISO was super high. Something I'm doing right now is getting used to my Panasonic Lumix GH5. I'm still trying to figure out a lot of the settings, how a lot of the things work. I didn't realize I had my ISO so high, so some of the video that has a lot of noise in it, I didn't realize that. Plus, for a while there, I only had a zoom lens, because that's what came with the camera. I was waiting to get my standard 12 to 60 millimeter, and so those first couple shots, it was just me trying to figure out how this camera works. I didn't figure out until later on, when we went to Virginia.
We made it to Virginia and the parking lot for the Appalachian Trail for McAfee's Knob, one of the most beautiful places on the entire AT. We plan on waking up and hiking it in the morning. I think it's way up there. I don't know if you can actually see it on here. Way in the back of the distance. It's about a 4-mile hike up there, 4 miles back down. So it's gonna take some time, and it's gonna be a hot day, but we're getting camping going, cooking going. We're getting cooking going right here. Right here in this, they're all over hard to the left. So this place even has porta johns. That might not be good. Dusting us out. All right. Maybe about to make a rescue or something? What are you making, Chef Lindsay?
I'm making some kind of white bean artichoke pesto thing.
It will be delicious.
Yes.
First real van life meal. You did a heck of a job. It's getting more and more intense out there. Trail, the AT does not let up. It's exactly as hard as I remember it. Overlook. Almost 4 miles we went. 1,700 foot climb. Let's go check it out.
I know our time is brief, because soon I'll have to leave. So come on, babe, let's have a laugh at the moon. The moon is a super, and I sit in a stupor all while I'm thinking on you.
Well, to anybody watching this, I'm realizing I had the ISO way too high. I had the ISO like cranked to the very max, and I just hadn't even stopped to look at it, so a lot of stuff is probably awfully speckly. Yes, baby. Yep. Somebody's got some poison ivy.
I wonder who it is. Colton's not allergic.
I'm drunk and I'm high, and that ain't a lie. And I smoke my pack of smokes down the tube. But you're here by my side, you got me.
But we knew that trailhead would be pretty safe. A lot of people do overnights there, so I think that's a really solid spot whenever you're looking for places to park. Look at trailheads, especially ones that have backpacking, because it would be normal for other vehicles to be there. All right, got done with McAfee's Knob today, and
It's not cold outside, but
no.
it's cold in the van.
Look at her all covered up. It is beautiful. Not the best shot of it, but we should be looking at the Shenandoahs from afar today. We're going to stay at the Appalachian Trail Conservancy tonight, which we have permission to park right there next to it and crash. So that should be cool.
To build the house 200 years ago. We go through a small gated cemetery where the people who built this place have been buried since the 1880s.
Made it to Harper's Ferry, which is a lovely little town. I haven't really driven or walked around here because on the AT we kind of bypassed this part, but it's really neat little historic downtown. Red brick sidewalk, I always like that. Chaser. Potomac. The Potomac River.
So after that, we went to Pennsylvania. So we went to this campground, we were recharging some batteries and just trying to get comfortable. It was a pretty cheap campground. I don't even remember where in Pennsylvania it was. We got to cook again, we got to have a little fire, we got rained on, but we also got to recharge. We got to plug in all of our electrical cords. We hooked up our little TV in here and got to watch a movie and just kind of felt really comfortable. At that point, we were still really getting used to what it meant to be in the van for full time. They also had a disc golf course there, which was excellent. That wasn't planned, that was just coincidental. So I got to do some disc golf, which doesn't happen enough. Over here at French River State Park in Pennsylvania, somewhere like northwest of Philadelphia. And I remember looking at the amenities and the things to do here other than like a pool, showers, and campsites and all that stuff. It just so happens when we were riding around looking for like firewood, place to buy firewood, said, oh, you're kidding me, there's a disc golf basket. Awesome. So I was able to sneak away and do a little bit of that, and it's a beautiful course, well kept. 2 pin placements on a lot of these holes, maybe all of them. This is only the 3rd hole, but I'm trying to rush through this so I can get back to Lindsay and Chaser, and so far so good. Headed to Philadelphia later. Man, this is a huge hole, either 930 or 295. A little ridiculous, but makes it easier to rush through this. Just about parked. Let's see if I can bang this one out. I wanted it. The evening after the campground, we went just north of Philadelphia, where we stayed with Jester, Shane O'Donnell, who also does trail films. He did one on the PCT, the AT, and the CDT, which all those films were quite fun to watch. So it was nice. We've talked on the phone, we've talked over instant messenger. We finally got to see each other in person and actually meet and have a bite to eat, and he gave us a solid place to park that evening as well. So that was really cool. What we've been doing up to that point is putting some serious miles on the road, several hours a day, you know, somewhere between 3 to 4 hours, which is even longer in this van. So even if it says 3 hours on Google Maps, it usually takes about 4.5. We go slow, we make a lot of stops, but it was really beautiful driving. We even crossed the AT once again and saw hikers going over the bridge while we were going underneath it. What we were trying to do is get up to the northeast as quickly as possible to beat the heat. We were trying to get to Maine. That was the ultimate goal. Lindsay works with a company that has products in Whole Foods. She set up a tour up the northeast to demo at those stores so she could be working at the same time. Meanwhile, I've been doing a lot of work with this website called Fiverr, doing freelance video editing and graphics.
Oh, nothing. Just hanging out in a giant supermarket. It's called Giant. Eating banana peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What you eating for lunch, baby?
I don't know yet.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna get hangry. Chaser. Where are we?
Bloomingdale, New Jersey. It's pretty.
It is. We just saw some turkeys, but some little baby turkeys. Now we just hiked up pretty easy to this little view. We're seeing kind of a cascade waterfall thing. It's actually quite nice, I gotta say. Lindsay over there doing her Instagramming or whatever it is. But we're headed to our friend Jill's in names. Starts with a B. Beacon. Beacon, New York is where we're headed. Which is, I don't know, a couple hours above New York City and about an hour away from here. But boy, it's beautiful hiking. I love New England. New England's just so pretty. We saw a couple other cars in the parking lot, but we haven't seen anybody else hiking. These trails really break off into separate, all kinds of different trails every which way.
Little
And
maze.
yeah, it's kind of a maze, and we don't know exactly. There was no real clear thing that said what was where, so, or how long these were, if they're loops or anything like that. So we just kind of took one, and
A lot of mushrooms.
tons of mushrooms, tons.
Really beautiful little hike so far.
I might get a couple shots of some mushrooms. Chaser's loving it though. I'm loving it.
I didn't even know Beacon, New York was really a thing. We got there, it was a beautiful little town. It was fun to sit there and talk about old times and some of the recent experiences we both had. She had a great parking spot for us too. I was also, again, able to run some electrical cords out there and keep everything charged, keep our fan going. It was next to a noisy road, so that was a little different, having traffic go by and, you know, garbage cans getting picked up early in the morning and everything. Again, just another part of van life. We got to go see her play some music. That was really fun. That was a couple towns over, so we got to actually ride with her and her friend. It was nice to actually ride with people. You know, if anybody offers to ride, I usually jump on that. Then the next day, we went and checked out this waterfall. She'd been talking about it for a few days.
All right, do not know the name of this waterfall. I know I'm shaking profusely, it's so cold. She's okay. Friend Jill's okay back there, but Chaser even seems to be okay. But boy, it's a beautiful waterfall.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. This thing has incredible stabilization, so.
Why are you so cold?
I don't know. I don't have any meat on my bones.
Take a deep breath. In through your nose.
You made it. Where's Chaser? Eating grass over there.
After Jill's, we headed into Connecticut. We finally stayed at our first rest stop. Their rest stops are kind of like airport terminals. There's McDonald's in there, and Chipotle, and Dunkin' Donuts, and bathrooms, and people everywhere all the time, constantly. A lot of other vans. Pretty crazy places. Not very peaceful. You know, car alarms going off throughout the night and stuff like that, but I felt very safe there. We actually stayed at a handful of those while we were in Connecticut. We also stayed at our friends Stefan and Christine's, which is actually Jill's brother and sister-in-law, so appreciate to them as well for letting us stay there. Something else we were looking forward to in Connecticut were the beaches. Kind of time to finally hit the beach a little bit. That's something we've been talking about for a while. Lunch right here in Connecticut by the ocean. Something about the New Jersey sound. I don't know if that's like a band or the ocean. We'd love to have a sea, but he's loving it. Sometimes you just gotta make do with what you got right here. Some peanut butter, avocado, mangoes. Oh yeah. There's the focus. Oh, you got a middle. Sweet little walk right here. Sweet little skate park. Nice camera right there. I don't know what they're doing with all that. That was coincidental that I turned around and saw a really nice camera with a sweet gimbal. But what can you do? We are southeast of Milford, Connecticut. Kind of this little beachfront road. It's beautiful here. Oh, I'm sorry, we're in New Haven now, so technically, which is southeast of Milford, Connecticut. Either way, it's pretty. It's kind of hard to find a place to park that doesn't penalize you for being out of town or just not allow you if you don't have some sort of permit. Unfortunately, Chaser kind of puts us in a position where we can't go enjoy the beach. You can at times, but not the time we're here. It's like 6 months out of the year, that's kind of the off season that dogs are allowed. Bird breeding, apparently dogs on the beach kind of messes them up. To be expected, but that's all right. We'll do what we gotta do for our little boy. He seems to enjoy us doing whatever, even if it's not going out by the beach. But we can see it
And only $1.50 parking where we're parking, which we're about to be back at. Next stop, North Branford, Connecticut, where our friend Stefan is. Yes.
That was a little bit of a bust for the Connecticut beaches, but something we did, something we've been looking forward to, was Block Island. Block Island is just south of Rhode Island. You can actually get there from a ferry in Connecticut or a ferry in Rhode Island. It was a bit of an adventure to get there.
We are currently in Rhode Island at Judith Point. We're waiting in standby to get up on the ferry to go to Block Island. And we got like 6 or 7 vehicles in front of us, and we're a little different because our vehicle's over 7 feet. I don't know what that really is going to mean in the end. Hoping to go there, stay on the island in the van, and come back tomorrow, and then hit up a couple more Whole Foods in Providence, Rhode Island, and
Off to Massachusetts.
yep, keep this van life thing going. We'll let you know if we end up on Block Island.
Oh, we will.
We've been recommended by gazillions of people, so we're gonna get there. We managed to get the van in. Now we're on the ferry. We're going, and it is beautiful. And we also ran into somebody who gave us some pretty good tips on where to park, which is even better. So awesome. Jason. Caught a really awesome sunset. Nachos. Chaser. Come here. Dog. Monhegan Bluffs. Over here on Block Island. Apparently they've got clay that you can just rub all over your body or something. Chaser over there. Learning what the ocean means. We're gonna go see how cold this water is. We got some teens over there that are terribly annoying. I mean, they might be nice, but boy, they were just loud.
Here, bud.
Come on. And you're wet. Go get it. He's finally figuring out he can't drink this water. I don't like it.
Block Island was absolutely gorgeous. We got to have a good time on the beach, and the water was super cold, but it was a lot of fun. After that, a lot of Whole Foods. Lindsay would be demoing for about 3 to 4 hours in a specific city, and then we'd have about 2-hour break to get to the next Whole Foods, probably about 30-40 minutes away. So we did that for several days in a row, just trying to hop from one spot to the next. If I wanted to get work done like editing, I couldn't just leave Chaser in the car. That was kind of an issue because it was so hot outside. So that was kind of a challenge whenever Lindsay would be off for 3.5 hours. I usually was trying to find somewhere for me and Chaser to go occupy our time. Went to a lot of dog parks, took a couple walks. Before van life started, I envisioned using that time to edit. So that was more times where I thought I was going to be getting work done and have these sort of videos out to you quicker. That just didn't work out the way I had planned. But you know, obviously having a dog here outweighs how much of a bummer it is that I can't always edit and just go into a coffee shop and wait. It just doesn't always work like that. Now the weather has turned. The weather turned actually on and off back then. Even from Pennsylvania, it got cool a couple times. We were able to leave Chaser and go inside and work a little bit.
Just getting some work done. North of Philly.
But the heat kept creeping back, mid 80s, high 80s, and so that was really tricky to figure out what to do with Chaser in the meantime. After Rhode Island, we headed up to Boston, Massachusetts.
Made it to Boston. Traffic.
Bumping into Boston.
Just walking in Boston. Cool looking bridge. Chaser pooped on the side of the street. Picked it up.
But he pooped like on a tree, kind of.
Yeah, technically it was in a good spot.
He didn't just poop on the street.
Austin, near Boston.
No, Austin.
Alston. That's it, Alston. Just met up with our friend Rachel Shank and her boyfriend Omar.
About to meet up with Meredith.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Alright, that's enough.
Is it?
We'll come back later.
It was our first evening parking on the side of a road in a major city. That was a little scary. I saw a lot of vans around there with spray paint, so that was a little nerve-wracking. We tried not to get too terribly far from it. Really liked Boston. It felt like a cleaner New York City, and we've spent a good bit of time in New York City, so as far as a big city goes, very clean, very pretty. We plan on going back there. So hopefully that didn't last too long. I know I can get a little long-winded with some of these videos, but we're going to take a quick break, and I will try to get the next video up as quickly as possible to recap our time in the further northeast area of the country. We've had a lot of really good experiences, and so that will be next.